All right, everyone, let's talk about what's next for Upland, because it is a huge deal. We're about to see a massive evolution in the economy, and I'm here to break it all down for you. We're talking new buildings, new systems, and a totally new way to think about trade and transport across the whole map.
So let's kick things off with a pretty big question, right? How does a virtual world really come alive? I mean, how does a place like Upland transform from just a map of properties into something that feels like a living, breathing economy?
Well, the secret sauce, it turns out, is going beyond just owning property. It's about building layers on top of that foundation. It's about real connection, real commerce, and real movement. That's the stuff that makes a world feel alive.
Okay, so here's the game plan for today. We're going to cover the next big evolution, then dive into the first piece of the puzzle, offices. From there, we'll see how they connect neighborhoods with bonds, which leads to the future of trade routes. We'll also touch on a key Sparklet update, and finally, wrap it all up with what this means for your role in the new economy.
So first up, the next evolution. Look, Upland has always been about property ownership, right? That's the bedrock. And let's be clear, this doesn't change that one bit. Instead, we're building right on top of it. Think of it like adding a whole new layer of commerce and transportation. That's going to make everything you own way more dynamic. And here's how it's all rolling out. The first piece of this, office structures, well, they're live today. You can start building them right now. Now, the bigger systems they feed into, like commerce scores and the whole trade routes feature, that's coming later in 2026. But the key thing to get is that what you do now is literally laying the groundwork for all of that.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty, starting with piece number 1, offices. You got to think of these as the absolute foundation for this entire new commercial network. And the best part? They're in the Upland store right now, and they're here to stay.
So you've got 4 flavors to choose from. If you're using UPX, there's the small office, which is great for spreading out, and the large office, for making a bigger splash in one spot. If you're using cash, the office complex is a really accessible way to get started, and the office tower, that's for when you want maximum impact on a tiny plot of land. Now, the crucial thing is that all of these generate something called office units, and you're going to want to remember that term because it's how we'll measure a neighborhood's economic muscle. And get this is just phase 1 for offices. Down the road, the plan is for our uppies to actually work in these buildings. Imagine that. You'll be able to level them up, boost their economic power, and make them even more vital to the entire trade network. Super cool stuff. Okay, so we have the building blocks, the offices. But how do we connect them? How do we build this web of commerce? Well, that's where bonds come in. See, an office on its own is cool, but their real power gets unlocked when you use them to link neighborhoods together.
So, how do you actually make one of these bonds? It's actually pretty simple, and it's all about a two-way street. Let's say your home address is in neighborhood A. You go out and build an office over in neighborhood B. Then someone whose home is in neighborhood B comes over and builds an office in your neighborhood, neighborhood A. When that happens, bam! You've just created a mutual bond. It's a handshake between 2 neighborhoods.
Okay, so you've got your office units, and now you're forming bonds. Well, when you put those 2 things together, you get something called a commerce score. And you'll want to pay close attention to this, because this score is basically the most important new number in the game. It's a single metric that tells you how economically powerful a neighborhood is, not just what it has inside, but also how well connected it is to the outside world. So how do you pump up that commerce score? It's not just a numbers game, you've got to be strategic. First, you need lots of different players creating bonds. It's also about balance. You want neighborhoods investing in each other. Spreading out your network to lots of different partner neighborhoods is also key. And here's a little pro tip for the future. Connecting with cities that are far, far away, that's going to be a big deal later on.
Right, so we're building offices, we're making bonds, we're boosting our commerce score, but why? What's the end game here? Well, it's all leading to one thing. The future is trade routes. This is where all that infrastructure you've been building finally comes to life and gets put into motion.
And the team at Upland gave us the perfect way to think about this. It's brilliant. You know how fishing works, right? You go out on the waterways, you cast a line, and you find troves. Well, just think of trade routes as the exact same idea, but for the roads. Instead of casting a line, you're transporting cargo to find those troves.
I mean, how great is that? Fishing explores Upland's waterways, trade routes explore its roads. It just clicks, doesn't it? It's a gameplay loop we already know and love, but it's being applied to this brand new system of roads and connections that we, the players, are building from scratch. It finally gives a real purpose to all those roads and, of course, to our trucks.
And of course, to be a part of this, you're gonna need the right gear. Your semi-trucks are about to become more important than ever, especially for hauling big loads. And get ready for 2 new things: trailers, a brand new asset type, and distribution centers. Those are gonna be the new hubs where you go to load up all your goods.
Okay, let's pivot for a second. To make a huge new player-driven system like this work, you need a healthy economy to support it. And that brings us to a really important update on Sparklet. This change is all about making the market more stable and sustainable for everyone.
So, what exactly is changing? Well, here's the headline. The amount of Sparklet you get from the in-app store is being reduced by 35%.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Why are they doing this? And the reason is actually really smart. It's all about shifting the focus to the player-to-player market. By putting less Sparklet directly into the system, the idea is to get more of us trading on the open exchange. This means that our demand, what we as players are actually willing to pay, is what's going to set the value. And honestly, that's how you build a healthy, long-term economy.
So, just so you know where to find everything from now on, the smaller Sparklet bundles, the $5, $10, and $25 ones, you can still grab those right in the mobile app, no problem. But for the bigger packs, $50, $100, and $300, you'll need to head over to the web version of Upland to get those.
All right, let's zoom out and put all these pieces together. We've talked about offices, bonds, scores, and routes. So what does the final picture look like? And more importantly, what is your part to play in all this?
When you boil it all down, it's a really clear and logical loop. It starts with offices. Those offices let you create bonds. The bonds and offices together build up your commerce score, and that high commerce score is what unlocks the profitable trade routes. See? Each piece just flows right into the next. But what's the point of it all? What's the big payoff? It's about making neighborhoods feel alive. Places with high commerce scores are going to become the hotspots. They're going to attract more uppies looking for opportunities, and that creates this amazing cycle of growth. More people means more activity, which makes the neighborhood even more valuable. It's a win-win.
Look, this whole update is a gigantic leap forward for Upland. It's making the world deeper, more connected. Your property is still king, but now its value is going to be supercharged by how well you collaborate and trade with others. So I'll leave you with this one thought. You've been given a whole new set of tools. The real question is, what kind of economy are you going to build?